Everybody, this is Kevin with Inspiring How You See That. We're the inspirational channel that goes behind the scenes and interviews some of your favorite artists, entertainers, and much more. So we do bonus features called Tech Tuesdays. This is another bonus feature that we're going to be talking about, the Creality CR6 Max, some of the accessory parts and components, and we talked about some of the tip heads plugging and not feeding correctly. So today we're going to talk about the parts that and the components that actually work well to unplug these tips. Now these parts that you see here featured here are actually by Creality. We are not paid or promoted by Creality. Now if they want to send us some free stuff to try out or utilize or something new that we can try out and talk to you guys about that may be up and coming, then that would be great if you guys send us some, but that's besides the point. This is some of their products that we have purchased, and the reason why we purchase them is because they do work and they work great. And we have found that sometimes even when you do buy some aftermarket ones are just not made correctly, or the tools just don't work right, or they break very easily. So we had talked about the head on your printer. Now we talked that these can fit universal, or if you don't have a CR6 Max and if you do have a 0.4 head, then you can use this feature to help you. Now this is some of the needle sizing that they have through Creality. Now this is another maintenance thing again. So every time that you do use your printer, we actually do recommend you taking out the filament feed, pulling back out the filament from the feed and cleaning out these tips, because stuff does get stuck up in there, burnt up in there, dried in there. And we're going to talk about some other topics in next future segments about some other areas where the filament does get stuck. But these are some of the tools that you can utilize. These are long needles. And again, we just wanted to show you the different sizes of needles that are there. Now, of course, you can zoom in here and you'll see that they're different sizes for different tips. So it depends upon what tip you have, and most of these are all marked so that way you know which needle to use. So if it's a 0.4 head, then you'll use the 0.4 needle, which is right here, that you'll use. And the only reason why I know which one that's the 0.4 is because when I set these out on a table, they were all numbered in the box. So this is the 0.4 that you would use in the tip, and then just make sure when you're putting that inside the tip, you go up and go slow. You try to put this needle in and just jam it in, it is gonna bend or break, and then you just cause yourself more of a mess. So go slow, take your time, make sure that if there is something jammed in there, that the filament setting is, on the heat setting, because that is a big issue. If you do not have it on the heat setting, you pull all your filament out, and then it can break off, have other issues, and then it doesn't come out of the head itself all the way. And or also too, when you're cleaning this out, you want to have that heated so you can make sure that everything's coming out and getting out of that end of that tip. So once your filament's out, take your 0.4 needle. So if it clears and it goes through good, then great, because then you know that there's nothing stuck up in there. And in the next segments, we'll talk a little bit more about these different, the heads, and you'll see other segments where we'll talk some more about the filament. As we mentioned, there's some other heads here, the titanium heads. It's just the differences in these aren't too much, but we'll talk more on that. And make sure you do always like and subscribe to these videos, because you'll get a notification if there's one up and coming that you may be interested in. You can watch it. Make sure that you do put anything in the comments below if you have some questions about some of the heads, or you have some other products out there that work better on your 3D printer, and or there might be something you're looking for. We'll have all that below here within the information. And then we'll also have our email that you can email us as well if there's additional questions. But watch out for extra videos, and with your comments, we'll also try to keep creating additional helpful tip videos of products that we've used or issues that we ran into. So we'll see you on the next one.